Guys, welcome back to DeFi, Degens, Drip, and Farm for Poverty, where on this channel, our vision is to empower the impoverished by helping you find financial freedom through crypto assets. Please subscribe and leave a comment and a thumbs up. Hey guys, welcome back to DeFi, Degens, Drip, and Farm for Poverty. So today we're talking about some of the YouTubers out there that are going to get you wrecked. And I'm not going to disclose who they are, but people who are spreading speculative information about Forex Shark ecosystem. Not going to call it FUD, but it technically is definitely uncertainty and doubt because it's speculative. We don't really know what's happening, and making assumptions and putting these videos out there force people into making impulsive decisions. I said this before from a quote from Tony Robbins: a decision made from fear is always the wrong decision, and definitely one made from FUD is going to be always the wrong decision. So if you're listening to them, chances are you're going to get wrecked. And what do I mean by that? Well, you got into this project, much like me, when Drip was much higher than it is right now, right? So because of the delays, the animal farm pauses, all these things that happen, we are down like 97% from where I got in. I think 97% from the all-time high and like 95% from where I got in, something like that. I can't really remember, but it's crazy down, right? So that means you bought high. And if you listen to the FUD, you are going to sell low. Buy high, sell low. That is how 90+% of investors get wrecked. So if you got in, like I did, higher than what it is now, one, you should have invested risk capital. That means if you did, you can afford to let it go to zero. The risk reward for this is that if it goes back up, you're going to be sitting pretty. If it goes down and it all wipes out, you had risk capital, who cares? So that's the one thing. So if you're listening to these people and that's what they're telling you to do, they are literally telling you to wreck yourself because you used risk capital, which you should have, right? I know a lot of us didn't. I didn't use risk capital, but I'm willing to let it go to zero because the risk reward is worth it. But that be the case, that's the mindset I have, so that I'm not subscribing to the FUD and then going to wreck myself and be upset about it because that's a much bigger loss. So second is let's look at a literal Ponzi, but they don't use that term in here, BNB miner. Nothing wrong with this. I'm not getting anything, not poking holes at any of this, but literally it only makes money when new people come in. And it literally tells you that BNB is sustained by continued community support. And he also mentioned, just like every other crypto or token project. So this was a contract. It's the longest running miner, I think, period, but definitely on Binance Smart Chain. And basically once it got put out there, it's immutable, right? The same with Drip. But there are only a few mechanics that stop this from being drained, so to speak. But the one benefit is that BNB is a major coin that is utilized on the Binance Smart Chain. So it has utility in and of itself. But the point is that this miner, all it does is you put in BNB and BNB out, right? But it sustained itself because of the mechanisms put in place and because of the quote-unquote Ponzi-nomics, people getting in. And then when you overclaim, then it lowers your payout and you can't claim as much. And then you're only allowed to claim so much per day, just like Drip. Drip is just a better version because there's also utility on top of Drip besides that. But let's take a look at the contract, the BNB miner. So here it was sitting down here, 14,000, 16,000 at introduction, like 9,000, 6,000, and it just kind of hovered from 9 to 20 for the whole part of 2021, really. And then all of a sudden it started getting some hype, maybe from YouTubers promoting it, who knows? But the point is, it went up massively. So you can argue anybody that got in here and stayed in here and that was compounding and claiming naturally, they dumped on the community. If you want to, make that claim like some of these fudders are doing out there. Just because they happen to get in early. That's with any crypto project, guys. Like, no matter what, I told you that in another video with Mark Cuban. Crypto in and of itself, until massive utility is added, is just a Ponzi. Bitcoin is a Ponzi. Until institutional capital gets added and people are using it as a store of value and leveraging real world assets against it, like Michael Saylor has started to do. It doesn't have utility. Utility is created by the community. We dictate how well an asset will perform because we decide if we're going to buy, sell, and hold and trade with it. And that's what's happening with crypto adoption. So here we have it. BNB miner running up because probably a lot of people got in. Then naturally, all these people that were hanging out around here took a hell of a lot of profits, I bet you. And then we do the same thing. And here we are again, right? So I don't know how long we stay similarly in this area with drip or this area coming down with drip. But if a miner, a literal Ponzi with nothing more than new utility or new people coming in, no utility on top of it, no developer coding anything for this, can have a contract last 454 days, 486 days. What do you think the drip community can do? That's all I want to ask you. What do you think a community of people developing on top of that? Like I mentioned in my video, I'm using it as a treasury for creating my fitness training, holistic wellness training app. I've also marketed to give personal training with Drip. Ray, Bartertown conglomerate, does blockchain gaming rewards and things of that nature. I think Defi, I forgot his name, the one that writes all the songs, probably does songs in Drip. Like, not in Drip, but like you can pay him in Drip and he'll write you a song. There's utility being added on top of Drip. Like the community is developing that. There's a game. There's all sorts, there's a farm, right? So all these things are being developed, not only by our developer, but also by the community. So again, look at the numbers. If BNB can sustain itself, and we're tied directly to BNB, so the argument could say if the BNB miner does well, then Drip is nothing more than a kind of leverage with BNB as the coin. Granted, you're getting paid a different asset, but it's the sword and shield protocol, meaning half of Drip is in BNB and the other half is in BUSD. So hell, if BNB miner is doing great, then Drip is going to do great. Like that's just kind of like tying those two things together. So the point being, if you're listening to these YouTubers, you're going to get wrecked. And I want to show some stats from the stock market to show you exactly how wrecked you're going to get. So this is a really cool article. Basically, it's about timing the market versus time in the market. We're not going to go through this entire thing, but I've heard these numbers thrown out multiple times. That's why I pulled this article up, because of this particular chart right here. So they mentioned this. First, we will assume you're excellent at timing the market and you only miss 10 of the best days. So this is from someone who was in the market for 15 years, the end of 2005 till the end of 2020. And they only missed 10 days, right? So that means they got a return of 4.31%. Only missing 10 of the best days, meaning out of the 5,475 days, they only missed 10, meaning they got in and got out, but they got all of the best parts of the market. They were able to time it perfectly, right? But if they missed 20 of those days, they now only have 11,000 in their return versus 18,000. That's an insane, that's almost cut in half, guys. So you missed 20 days. You know, 20 days is a 0.3% error rate. So if you were 99.7% accurate, you would have lost $7,000 in 15 years. Like 99.7, I'll take that all day long on anything else. Now let's move down to 30 days. If you missed only 30 days, you now have cut your return by about 60%. You're down to $7,000. And that is with a 0.5% error rate. So you were right 99.5% of the time. 99.5% of the time. That is crazy. And then lastly, if you miss 40 days with a 0.7% error rate, you literally now have lost almost half your investment. Lost half. So I bring this up to ask you, what is the risk reward of listening to these fudders if you are at least 99, if you get out and in this case of 15 years and you had a 1% error rate, you lost all of your investment. You were down $5,000 with 1% or less of an error rate, meaning you had to pretty much stay in 100% of the time. So the same thing to me applies for Drip. You got in, maybe you didn't have all the right research, you FOMO'd or whatever the case may be. It is much better to stay in 100% and see how it plays out than take a gamble of that 1% error rate that you're allowed to have and try to get a small part of your profits back. That's the game, guys. So there's no way, in my opinion, you could get that right after what I've just talked to you about with BNB Miner, with the utility, with the community development behind it, with the marketing and things of that nature, with other people coming in, with crypto adoption as a whole gaining. Like, the contract is immutable. It's already written. So even if nobody does anything, it will do exactly like BNB Miner. And as more people adopt crypto, they're going to do their Google researches, they're going to do their YouTube searches, and they're going to see the algorithm talking about drip, the algorithm talking about BNB. All these things are going to come back up to new people. The same way I pointed out in my other videos, how people get into SHIB, how they get into Doge. They've been around. They're meme coins. They got a strong community. If it's your first time coming into crypto, you do your research and these things pop up and then new people come in. That's it. So again, you have only a 1%, less than a 1% error rate you're allowed to make on this. So if you got in like I did with drip earlier this year, then let it run for a year. Don't touch it. Don't screw with it. If you're afraid right now, then just compound. Or hell, don't even compound. Just let it sit there and let it accumulate on the side. Then at least you're not investing any BNB to do the gas fees to hydrate. That's a lot better than what these YouTubers are telling you to claim out or spreading FUD, because then you're literally you're turning realized losses at that time. So I can't stress that enough. Like, the best thing you can actually do in this case is do nothing. Usually doing nothing is the worst thing you can do. But if you listen to the FUD, then you're going to start claiming, and you're claiming at a 95% loss, and those are going to be realized losses, because if 99.5% of this is right, then it's going the other direction. So, I'm sorry, I can't figure out how I want to word that, but you have less than a 1% error rate that you would be right. So 99 times out of 100, it's going to go the other way. Put it that way. So best to just stick it out, ride it out, and see what happens. Here's a chart on that. So that's my 2 cents on it. Stop listening to the FUD. Unsubscribe from those people. Block their videos, because you owe it to yourself to see how this plays out, even if you didn't invest risk capital. The same way that people in the stock market would have wrecked themselves. So the numbers speak for themselves. You can speculate all you want with what's happening behind the scenes, but letting this ride out is the best thing you can do, because mass adoption is coming to crypto as a whole, and BNB isn't going anywhere. Binance Smart Chain is going to be there, and the drip community is going to be there as well. Maybe with different people, but it will be there. Why? Because the contract is on the blockchain, immutable, not going anywhere. Same thing with BNB Miner. So that should be how you evaluate what to do, regardless of what these naysayers and fudders are trying to tell you. All right, guys, until next time, lift daily and achieve your impossible. See ya.